Merry meet. Happy Thursday. It's almost Friday. Yay. So welcome. Tonight is spiritual panel and we are talking about the astrological sign of Virgo. So this is exciting as we make it through our 12-week series of the astrological signs. So this is a spiritual safe place and tonight is open panel. So please feel free if you work with astrology and you know about Virgo and you want to come up on panel tonight, please feel free to request to come up. Feel free to leave comments in the comments section. Don't forget to give us hearts. Hearts help us become seen, and please share the video so that we can reach out to more people. I'm just gonna make sure that I invite. Sorry, just checking to see if my counterpart Bren and Azrael are. They're not even on yet. I mean, I am. I am on time. So yes. So tonight we are talking about Virgo. So we literally just left Virgo and we're now into Libra. So next week we will be discussing Libra, and we will be right on time with Libra. Which actually, before I get started, long arms. Witchy Book Club. Let me. There we go. Figured it out. Okay, Witchy Book Club. We are starting The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. That will be this Sunday. We're discussing chapters 1 through 4. So please make sure you try to read them. Because we're just going to jump in and discuss it, because really C.S. Lewis is brilliant and he really tackles some philosophical, theological subjects. And so this will be a really fun book to jump into. So The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. You can probably check it out from your library. You can get it at any bookstore. So that's kind of nice that we have that option available. So, but please like and share so that we can get the word out about the video. So bear with me for just a second. I'm just going to see if I don't see either of them. Okay, I will just jump in then. So I'll keep my camera on. I was going to turn it off, but since I'm here alone, all is well. So I'm sure Brenna's probably a little behind. So at least today. All right. So Virgo. Virgos are actually really great there's always really great things about every sign, but Virgos are really great to work with. And if you know any Virgos, they're fabulous to actually know too. So it is the 6th sign. So yes, we are 6 weeks into our series on the astrological signs. And this is for people that are born August 23rd through September 22nd. Yeah, we are just barely out of Virgo. So Virgo is our 2nd earth sign. And there we go. There's Bren. Welcome, Bren.
Hello.
I just barely started. We're just jumping into Virgo. So, okay, so Virgo is our earth sign. So it's our 2nd earth sign. Again, we start at Aries. Aries is the beginning of the astrological year when we are looking at Western astrology. So Virgo's symbol is a maiden carrying a sheath of wheat. Again, it is an earth sign. So the other earth signs are Taurus and Capricorn, and we've already talked about Taurus, so you've got to wait a while for Capricorn because it's a couple weeks away. But the ruling planet is Mercury. The strengths for Virgo is they're very analytical, they're diligent, they are efficient, reliable, compassionate, helpful, and practical. The qualities they need to work on sometimes is that they can be overly critical. They can be a workaholic, anxious, rigid, and sometimes they have a hard time relaxing. So with a hard time relaxing, I've only known a few Virgos that seem to have a hard time relaxing, but the workaholic, every Virgo I have worked with, they are the ones that will work like, they won't stop. Like you'll say, stop working. It's okay. You can go home. And they're like, no, I need to get this done. So, but they are very reliable. So, if you ask them to help you with a project or something, they will definitely help you out. They're not going to like bail on you, which is always super nice. They do like things to be orderly and organized, which is really nice. So I know like one place I worked, we did have a Virgo, and she was so good at organizing. Like if you had to do a presentation and you had your slides ready, but you're like, she could do like amazing, like she just made it more organized and sync, if that makes sense. Like I enjoyed if like they're like, you have to work with her, and I'd be like, yes, because she was very organized. Like I could throw out the stuff, but her organization was really great. They do like intellectual challenges. They do enjoy helping others, and they have quality craftsmanship or quality product when whatever they do, whatever they finish. These are like the kids that have like the amazing science projects or the amazing book reports where, if you were in school, you were like, oh, they were brilliant. So they don't like being around lazy people. They don't like dishonesty or unrealistic expectations and incompetence and disorganization. I know, like actually one of the girls when I worked with the Virgo, we worked with a girl who would come in from running, and she'd take her shoes off and plop them on her desk, and like she'd spill plants, and was always like a bit disorganized. And the Virgo sat like right across from her, and oh my gosh, she was like, oh my gosh, like you could just see it just irritated her so much. So it was kind of a funny quality to see that happen. But yes. So, well, Bren and I will jump into the correspondences with the herbs and the crystals when he is done going over his like little portion. So, Bren, I will let you jump in now and give us your insight into Virgo.
So, Virgo, also known as Kanya in the Vedic system. Now, first and foremost, the symbolism in Vedic for Virgo is somewhat similar, but it does have a more, I would say, like essentially being called into action. Because the symbolism of Virgo in the Vedic system is you're having a woman dressed in white. She's running off the loading ramp of a boat, like she's stepping off of it, and she has in one hand Ayurvedic medicine and wheat in another, and she's literally running off the boat and going off onto shore to go to the terrain or the area where there's people who have been wounded, people who are starving, people who are in some form of harm and suffering. So she's literally coming off the boat to go into the fray, to start healing, to start bringing medicine to people who are injured, to start bringing any kind of remedial cure to those that are in pain, suffering, and or even also to caretake to animals also, because Virgo's original rulership in the 6th house does have dominion over pets and small animals for that. It is, of course, an earth element. Yes, that is the same thing. And Virgo is the only sign that has its ruler be Motrikona, meaning it's where it's comfortable. It owns it, and it's exalted. No other sign has it have a ruler, be in its own sign, and then exalted. Mercury's the only one that has that quality, and that goes to Virgo too. So, the other part of the guna, meaning that what is its nature and how does it express itself, it's a tamasic sign. Meaning tamasic as in it understands that some things have to be purged, purified, and going through a process to be able to become something new so it can be built upon. It is, of course, the 6th sign. It is a feminine sign, of course. It's where Venus gets pissed off in or debilitated. Now you're probably thinking, but Virgo, isn't that, but a pure woman in white, wouldn't that be Venus? Well, look at it this way. You're having a planet that's all about the luxury, the wealth, wants to enjoy everything, wants to find the beauty in everything. Here comes Virgo. Those shoes don't look good on you. Seriously? You're going to be making that look like that? It's so unorganized. You're putting Venus in that. Venus that can see the beauty in everything is now being forced to criticize. How can you criticize artistic expression? You can't. It's not possible. That's why Venus gets pissed off in there. And it has dominion over the digestive tract, so the stomach area, because that's where you have most of the, whenever you consume something, the digestive tract, it takes the minerals, the vitamins, and anything that can be intaken, and then it distributes it to the body. And now, if Virgo could say a quote, it would be something along the lines of, I analyze and organize. But I mean, I would even also add in there too that Virgo, I like to say, if you have, for an example, Mars in Virgo, you can easily, without a doubt, see somebody be like, essentially you're giving a sword to a Virgo. So she's like an artist with her way that she cuts and perfects. But some other supporting words for Virgo are, but not limited to, barren. Barren? What's that? Barren? What do you mean barren? How dare you? Well, barren as in because virgin, pure. It is something that's not tainted. Virgo is strictly a pure sign. Although it's the sign that goes into the conflict where there's discord and tries to bring order into it, they are the pure force that comes in to restore it. And in order to get that purity, there has to be destruction. And Virgo's the one that comes in and cuts it all off. It's also a practical sign. Critical, systematic, it likes to follow set routine. If this, then this, then that, then that. It is a calculative sign. It is detailed. It loves to look at the fine, minuscule things to make it perfect. It is organized, hardworking. It is restorative, healing. It is also writing. And definitely quite the fighter. Because whenever there's something wrong, I can guarantee you most of the time it'll be a Virgo going, that's not good. Look, no, fix that. That's off by a mere inch. Oh, okay. Nope. Other way. There. Finally. See, that wasn't so difficult, was it? Yeah. They will get to the nitty gritty because that's just their nature. Nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. It's also innocent. What do you mean innocent? Well, again, the sign of Virgo, the pure one. Innocent. But at the same time, being innocent, that can also be the possibility of having the risk of being naive. Because you can be naive going into an environment where you believe something wrong is happening, but it's not. Disputive. You better believe it. A Virgo will go in saying, I don't know. This don't look good. Let's fix it. It's also the sign that has the real dominion over the lawsuits. But wouldn't that be Libra? No. Because Libra wants to balance it out. What's the loss of Libra? Virgo. When you have a sign, the sign behind it, that becomes the loss of that sign. So what is Libra losing when it's going backwards? It has its balance, now it's going back and having disputes happen. That's why it has dominion over lawsuits. Intellectual. It's a health instructor, wellness coach. Social welfare, social reform, routines. It is the female Shakti or the divine feminine energy on the physical front. It is also daughter, significator of daughter. So if you have a daughter, usually you can see where Virgo is placed. You can then see how Virgo's placement can influence the daughters that you have. It is virgin, of course, pure, innocent. Wait, did I put that in there twice? Yep, I put that in there twice. It is facing enemies. It is also competition. It is being bound to the world. It's dealing with the afflictions and sufferings of others. It's all about paying karmic debt, meaning it's also a sign that is all about parata karma, meaning it's karma that you have to do. As much as you would like to go, nope, I don't want to do this, somehow, some way, it'll pie you in the face and you'll do it. It is also logic and specific. It is also purification. So now, after all that hot mess, let's go into a little bit more detail. So for Virgo, within the constellation, well, I mean the zodiac sign, there are now 3 nakshatras related to Virgo. There is Uttara Falguni, the end of it, then there's Hasta, and then there's Chitra. Uttara Falguni is the other part of the Falguni, which we talked last week. We have the Leo side, but the Virgo side, if you have something in the beginning of Virgo, I would have to say I think it's up to the 5. I think it's 8 degrees-ish around in there of Virgo. Now you're having the strictness and the perfectionism coming into contracts and keeping them upheld, like a marriage. Because believe it or not, the beginning of Virgo and the late of Leo, that is the strongest area for having marriages happen. So if you want to have a marriage date around in those times, if you have Venus transiting there, Sun transiting there, Mars, Jupiter transiting there, because both Mars and Jupiter can be husbands sometimes, that is the most ideal place to get married, because you have the marriage and the bonds be so hypercritically strict with the bond making and the negotiations and the wedding that it would be very difficult to break. But that we're not doing matchmaking here. So then after Uttara Falguni, then there's the heart of Virgo, which is known as Hasta. Hasta is symbolized by the hand, or the clenched fist, or the open palm. Now, Hasta, essentially any planets placed in there, whatever planet is placed in there, their qualities get imbued into your hands. So for an example, say we have Venus in Hasta, you can easily heal by just touching someone. The touch of your hand can make somebody start feeling better. If you have Sun in there, the way that whenever your father touches something of yours, it gets healed. And Moon, same with Mother. And also, of course, again, Mercury would be younger sibling, Mars would be husband figure or brother, Jupiter would be guru or mentor, and also husband figure in some studies. And then there's also Saturn. Well, Saturn would be somebody who's in poverty. You go and you meet somebody who's in poverty or somebody who's homeless, you communicate with them, and then you shake hands with them, they'll heal you. More you know. Then last but not least is Chitra. Now Chitra is symbolized by a flawless pearl. And it is all about the creativity. On the Virgo side, it's all creative in perfection. Every color, every line, everything you can think of is pinpoint, precise, perfect. But when it gets into Libra, that's where it's different. And the order of the rulership goes, Uttara Falguni rules the sun part, then the heart is ruled by Moon, Hasta is ruled by the Moon, and then Mars rules Chitra. So, with all of that in mind, are there any other points I want to put in for Virgo?
I think at this point, we can just talk about associations unless you think you're missing anything else.
Let's see here. Well, let's also throw this in here. Let's throw the planets in the sign of Virgo and see how they do. Well, the Sun in Virgo. Oh, okay. The king, he can handle Virgo. It's like, okay, I just got to be really strict with how I rule my kingdom. Moon. Well, I need to have everything perfect, otherwise my mind I won't be fine. No, I can't. This has to be perfect. But if it's a waning moon in Virgo, you'll see somebody be so hypercritical of themselves to the point where it can be debilitating. Mercury in Virgo, he's comfortable in there. And keep in mind, Mercury, Buddha, the planet, is a neutered planet. It's not masculine or feminine. It's both. That's why it's neutered. So this is the feminine side of Mercury, while the Gemini side is more the masculine side of Mercury. Venus, we've already been through with Venus. Venus gets pissed off in Virgo. Mars in Virgo. Well, you would think, I bet you he'd do fine there. Not really. Because now you're having a soldier that doesn't want to think about striking precisely. He just wants to go and table flip. So that's why Mars isn't too fond with it. Jupiter. Well, despite Jupiter being in his half-sun sign, Jupiter understands that, sometimes for me to be the best guru, sometimes I have to tell my students, you're not perfect. You're never going to be like this. You must do it absolutely perfect every time. Which may not be the best way to teach, but hey, at least the students will come out being absolutely on point every time. Saturn in Virgo. you're probably thinking, so an old geezer now in the sign of the Virgin, pure, and just all that. And you're probably thinking, wait a minute, does that mean Saturn becomes like like a grandma with a walker and he's wearing a white dress going, what the heck is this crap? Why am I wearing white? Do I look like one of those, Milky Way things? Get this off me. But Saturn in Virgo, you can easily see somebody being a judge. And also, what's that called? What am I looking for? It's, public attorney, public defender. Because the public is Saturn, and then Virgo is that dispute. You can see that.
Yep.
And Uranus kind of feels like, how come everything has to be perfect here? I want to throw some chaos in here. Which doesn't really make much sense for Uranus because he's random. Neptune and Virgo. This is where Neptune gets pissed off. Because you're telling Neptune, plan about just letting go, imagination, going to fantasy woozy-woo, going to the realm of the spiritual, now to be critical. So now you're having this. I think I'm just imagining something being absolutely perfect. But how can you know if it's perfect if you can't even see it on the physical? That's where the confliction happens. Little shithead Pluto in Virgo. Well, the best way I could put it is this way. You're taking, like, the younger sibling that wants to hang out with you and says, oh, big brother, big sister's cool. Now you're making him a perfectionist. Somebody is able to transform by being so intense with things. And the way that they like to criticize is overkill. Over the top. Like, whoa, you don't have to be so nitpicky, kid. But this is also where you can see with medical advances with Virgo and that, with Pluto and Virgo. Rahu, the North Node. This is also an alternative spot where Rahu gets exalted. But why? Because you're having this happen. You're having an Asura, who is not a Deva, now being put in the sign of being pure. What happens when you put something that's not pure into purity? You're probably thinking, it taints him. Not in this case. Because now Rahu is able to take his obsessive quality and now make something become purified, and become absolutely structured, and is able to stand the test of time. It is exceptionally a great thing to have. K2 in Virgo, the South Node. Meh with it. So now you can see somebody not being kind of being detached from routines, detached from having things organized and structured, and not really giving much of a care about having any kind of structure or routine. Black Moon Lilith. Now, you're probably going to be thinking, oh, I bet you Lilith hates being here. Well, in a way, yes, but also in a way, no. Because now you're taking one's empowerment, sense of, like, ability of a cult, how one gets revenge, how one handles shame and authenticity. Well, look at it this way. All right, if you're going to try and shame a Virgo, Lilith, do you think that's going to work? Not really, because she's going to be responding with something to the effect of, oh, you're going to criticize me? Really? Well, look at you. You think you're going to do anything like that to me? How about you make yourself actually look presentable first before you start hating on me, dude? Something like that. But also,
I can just see Lilith,
And the thing is, also with a Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, I will tell you this: if anybody does any form of DV to a woman, and there's a Black Moon Lilith Virgo around, that Lilith placement, Lilith and Virgo, they will just rip that guy or person to shreds if they catch wind of that. They will not, intense. And, let's see, anything else? I think I got all the main planets in there.
Yeah, I don't think you missed any. So, all right.
Catch my breath.
Yeah, to catch your breath. It is the tarot card associated with our Virgo is the Hermit. Okay, I'll talk about some herbs, then I'll let Bren talk about a couple herbs. So some of the herbs: fennel, lavender, peppermint, licorice. Oh, I love licorice. Thyme, chamomile, aloe vera, aloe vera. Sorry, I was like, whatever. And dill. So some really fun herbs there. And yeah, I love the herb licorice. I love the smell and everything. Okay. So, but any that I missed, Bren, or any that you want to expand upon?
Hmm. So when we think of Mercury and Virgo, we got to think of something that has something to do with helping with, say, digestion. Something that helps with the intestinal tract. So essentially, anything that is involving fiber. Another one would be
Ginger
mint.
could probably be one. Well,
Which one?
yeah, I said the peppermint, but ginger could probably.
Yeah, even though it's more of a yeah, it does. I can see
Yeah.
that. Green, like green tea, that'd be one. Um, of course, you already said lavender.
Yeah.
Um, it's just my head's. Oh, Spanish sage would be one. Of course, you said thyme. Oregano would be another one because oregano is a really anti-BS plant. That
Yes.
plant is feisty. I'll tell you. You put that. You mix oregano and thyme together. Well, I mean, I call that Mr. and Mrs. Anti-BS. Both of them together, yeah, anti anything bad.
I think they taste great together, but
They do. It's like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, essentially. Best way to put it.
I like that. I like that analogy.
What else is there? Oh, yeah. Of course, you said chamomile already. Sandalwood.
Oh, sandalwood would be a good one. I didn't think of that one.
You could say wintergreen too. Of course, the peppermints, the mints, because the mints kind of give a bit of a purified stun slap, and that kind of is like how Virgo hits whenever you come across it. Whack. Oh, basil leaf would be another one.
And the healing qualities in all of these plants are also pretty amazing too when we think about it.
I mean, you could even but even though his stuff is more olive oil. There we go, olive. Aha. Without a doubt, olive, because olive, yeah, it has that. Well, it's a preservative.
Yeah.
Virgo wants to preserve everything around it. Wants to keep things pure. You make it mad, well, table flipped on you. Let's see, what else do we have in there? Yeah, I mean, in a way, you could say baby's breath too, because it is that pure, innocent.
Yeah, and they're so yes. You see, they just look innocent. It's they're sweet and little and yeah.
I mean, heck, hold my wine glass. I'd even say oleander too, because it's like pure innocent, but when you mess with it, last touch. Because I mean, that's also Virgo though. You overstep a Virgo's boundaries, you get whacked.
Yes, you will. I've never made like Azrael's a Virgo, and I've never made him mad, but I wouldn't want to.
I don't think I can think of any. I can't think of any other ones for Virgo. Not that I can think of anymore.
So, all right, we'll jump to crystals, and I know my crystal list is not complete, but I mean, we got to start somewhere, right? So, all right, peridot, blue sapphire, adventurine, and the cool thing is with the adventurine is the blue adventurine and the green adventurine works really well with Virgos. Fluorite, smoky quartz, and carnelian. So those are just some that I had, and I'm sure Brent has some that I don't have listed because I know there are, when we get down to it, because of how many tens of thousands of crystal stones and rocks there are in the world.
Okie So, first one I got, Amazonite. Well,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
when we think of Virgo, what's another thing we can think of? Amazons. And what do we know about Amazons? Well, they will fear getting hit by a spear by one of them. And well, I mean, it's a tribe of Amazon women. Well, of course, there is only a tribe of women, so we can say, yep, there you go. There's that. Yep. Green apophyllite would be one. You could even also say clear apophyllite too. Let's see. Emerald would be another one. Peridot would be another one. You could, maybe, well, I don't know, but maybe malachite possibly. Oh, wait, crap.
Yeah, actually,
Moldavite
does work, and peridot and epildite also, because that's pretty common. Not a common crystal, but common for them to be found together.
Malachite would be one. Green calcite. Moldavite. Definitely Moldavite, because it just completely gets all the BS off of you, and you may not like it. It may be like, I kind of regret this, but sometimes this has to happen. Just nod your head and go with it. Green phantom quartz or chloride in quartz would be one. Let's see. You could, what's it called? Syropase something?
Yeah, chrysopase. I know which one you're talking about. I pronounce it like 1,000 different ways. It is a beautiful stone, and it can actually change color too. It's mainly green and blue, but I've seen green ones turn completely blue and blue ones turn completely green. Because they constantly grow with you.
You could go with, what's that called? Gaia stone?
Oh, I forgot about Gaia stone. That would be a good one, yes.
Hittite, which is the green version of spodumene or kunzite. That's the green version of it. Green jade, imperial jade. There you go. I already said malachite, I think. Didn't I?
Yes,
you did. Yeah, I said malachite. Unakite jasper, because it deals with addictions. You could say bloodstone too. Green kyanite. Oh gosh, am I going through the whole file cabinet in my head?
Watermelon tourmaline.
Oh yeah. Or even also ruby zoylite or something.
Yes, that would be yes, and that's such a beautiful stone to work with too.
I guess you could say seraphinite too, because it's pure virgin, and then yeah. Wait, did I say peridot? Yeah, I said peridot.
Yeah, we both did. Moss agate.
Oh, yeah, that was another one I was thinking. Oh, serpentine, right? Actually,
oh yes, serpentine would be a very, very excellent one.
And there's one more. Smith stone, I think that's what it's called. I think it's Smith stone. Anyway, that's my dean's list that I can think of.
Yes, yeah, and we could probably go away. It almost sounded like we were just spouting out crystals, but yes, those are all crystals associated with Virgo. So, yes, our Virgos, you can have your beautiful crystals with you.
And now, another thing also, when we look at like specific deities, well, number one, Athena would be probably one of the first ones that comes to mind. Pallas Athena, which would be essentially two goddesses coming together to become one. There's that. Technically, well, Hmm. I'm trying to really think here. Well, I mean, you could even as weird as this sounds, I could see Virgo being associated with hell because she doesn't have a consort. And she caretakes and she's on the daily caretaking to the deceased nonstop. And that's something Virgo does, attend to those that are outcasted. Hmm. I can't think of any other deities right now at the top of my head.
Yeah, the only one I can really think of would be Athena, and we've already gotten. Well, yeah, I was going to say Artemis, but well, maybe Artemis.
Yeah, Artemis too. Yeah.
Yeah, Artemis would be a good one too.
Hestia. No, not Hestia. Crap. What's her name? Yeah, I think it's Hestia. I think she was renowned for her medicines or something like that. Hygia or something like that. I think that's her name. Eh. Yeah, I can't think of any others. But that, yeah, I think that's all that I got for that one.
Yeah, that's all that I have too. So I didn't even think about like sometimes I remember like, oh, I've got to get the goddesses, and you know, I'll remember for next week. So I want to thank everybody who's watching, and I would love to if we got our hearts up. They're like really low tonight. So please like the video if you're enjoying learning about the astrological signs, those that are here. We really appreciate all those hearts. We are talking about the astrological sign Virgo in our 12-week series on astrological signs. So next week we'll be talking about Libra, and we are actually in Libra now.
That's bloody heck.
Yeah.
Because, I'm a Libra. My birthday's coming soon. Great. Another year around the sun. Woo!
But at least it's fun, right? It's fun times when we travel around the sun.
Well, it wasn't that quite the pun.
Yes, that actually kind of was quite the pun.
Yep, it was quite the pun, but thankfully it wasn't by the Hun.
And sometimes Dr. Seuss makes an appearance here.
It's coming near, over here.
Yes, indeed.
Oh dear.
And here we go again. I mean, it's either rhyming or singing.
It's going to be beginning and ending.
Yes. So we'll talk about Libra. Don't be a zebra.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, actually, yeah, be a zebra. Because it's really good to be unique.
Yeah, they're really fun to watch, I don't know. I love watching all animals, so unless I think the animal's going to eat me.
Yeah, like that time that almost happened with Pumbaa. She's gonna eat me!
Or trample me. I mean, like you could get trampled too by animals.
Oh yeah, the gazelles or whatever.
I was thinking along the lines of moose, but
Oh, Rocky and Bullwinkle?
yeah, they get very protective and very young.
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Again? Roll up a sleeve. Presto! Gonna have to need another hat. Now here's something we know you really like. I don't even know how I remember all that.
Now that you say it, like I remember watching the show all the time when I was little, but
It just amazes me now that the network they used to actually air those old-time cartoons on, I think it was called Boomerang. Yeah, they've shut down.
isn't that sad?
It is, because it's like, that's my whole childhood you just ended. What the heck is wrong with you?
And some of the old cartoons are coming back because I was older. I think I was like in high school. My sister had My Little Ponies, but it's hilarious because that is like my granddaughter's favorite. And I'm like, you have access to these cartoons? And she sits and watches them because when you see the cartoons nowadays, they're so the colors are more vivid and everything, and those old cartoons are like, artwork has come quite far. We'll leave it at that.
Yep. But I mean, there's nothing that'll beat the old time, cartoons. Like they just had that. They had that Saturnian charm to them.
Yes, because I think about like the old Scooby Doo, and we had Rocky and Bullwinkle, of course, and Underdog.
Oh, Hong Kong Phooey. Okay, guys, you're going to be in some real trouble. Hey! I'm so surprised I know all those catchphrases, and I don't know. I don't even know how I remember them.
Well, it's because we like saw them all the time. I mean, sometimes I've like saying like when I'll see like Life cereal, Mikey will eat it. I mean, like, there are some that you like. The commercials just really stuck with you.
No respect. Oh wait, who is that? The shark? Yeah, that shark guy.
Oh, good times. The joy of the last century.
Yep, and then somebody must have pressed the wrong button in a different timeline to get us in this spot.
Right? Oh, it's really old, but it's the magic flute with witchy poo. It's HR Puffin stuff.
Oh, snap. Wow.
Yes. I mean,
Oh,
seriously, that was like the best show. I remember I would wake up early because it was on at like 6 a.m. and I would wake up to watch it. And it was nice because no one else in the house was up because it was like, I think it was Sunday or Saturday mornings. And so no one else was up. So it was like, I just got to sit and watch HR Puffin stuff. Good old shows. As we get seriously derailed from Virgo.
Yeah, but I think we really covered everything about Virgo anyway.
We really did, in a nutshell. So those that like are I know we have people jumping on and off. You can rewatch this entire segment. It will be posted on YouTube and on Patreon. So if you go to my bio and you hit my bio site, it will take you, and so you can subscribe to either Patreon or YouTube, and you can get any of the past ones too. So if you want to like catch up on those, if you're like learning about astrology, this is like a great way to learn, because we're talking about Vedic astrology and Western astrology. So what a fabulous way to kind of get your feet wet and learn about the 12 zodiacs. So
and I wanted to also share this real quick, if this would be perfect. So here is turn on. Thank you. Here is how this is coming along.
Look how beautiful.
That's the cover, and then you see, the background. That's the set. Well, if my camera will focus, come on, you. But yeah, like the border and all that. But now look at this.
I love it. Look at that. That is gorgeous.
But I mean,
you know what? We're supposed to read that one after we read the Screw Tape Letters.
yes, because by the time that I'm finished with it, but I mean, yeah.
It'll be after Screw Tape. There we go. Because I was just thinking, what a nice like way to like bring us back to Earth, and away from the craziness of Screw Tape.
Yeah. But I mean, what took me the longest was doing that. That was a pain.
Oh, I'm sure.
Gosh. Ugh. And even then, down at the bottom, like at the very bottom of it, even the ropes are not exact, but I mean, I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I gave you my best, Your Majesty.
You know what though? It looks good to me. You know though, like, cause I quilt and I like knit, and I'll see like a little, like where I like didn't pick up a stitch in a knit, or I didn't quite quilt 100% perfect, and everybody else will be like, oh, we love it, and I'm like sitting there cringing because I'm like, it's off by like a millimeter, you know?
So that's the status of that. And I'm just bringing it all over. All of the information, good Lord, good gosh. The amount of research I put into this, getting every quote, getting every line, getting probably the biggest bibliography ever in this book. Oh, good Lord.
Well, there's a lot on her. I mean, that's the one thing, like I recently taught a class on the goddesses, and when I was teaching it, I said, some goddesses you're not going to find very much on, and then some goddesses there is a ton of information.
Yep, and actually, I know Hera was a prominent goddess, because I mean, even today, I think it was, I can't remember which year it was, but the Olympic Games were kicked off in her, like they started at her temple, I believe. Yeah, that was the lighting of it. I remember.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. I had because Utah will be doing the Winter Games again, but I lived there when they did the Winter Olympics in, was that 2001, 2002, 2002? And actually my cousin, he had been, he's my grandma's cousin, so I think he's like my cousin, like twice removed, I don't know. But he actually got to run with the torch, and that was really cool. He got
what?
He got to run with the torch.
Wow.
He was one of the last people to run with it, because he had been in the Olympics like a long time ago, and and when he ran with the torch, I mean, he was in his 70s, so it had been a long time, but like it is really neat how they pick some of the people to do it. Sometimes it's people who qualified for the Olympics, or who were in Olympics, or who've done a lot for the communities, and it is pretty cool, and they pass it and they run.
And I mean, it's also just so amazing how that tradition of it is still going on. And I mean, that kind of shows how important it is to keep and maintain and preserve these traditions, because it keeps the culture alive and it keeps the deities alive as well.
Yes, it truly does. And it is really important for us to do that.
And for goodness sakes, the last one that was held, it had nothing to do with the Last Supper. It was the celebration with Bacchus, or what the heck is his name? Yeah. For goodness sakes, it was celebrating the feast of Bacchus, not Christ, okay? Keep your heads on. Use your head.
It's just a lot of people don't understand the full extent of tradition. That's why in the spiritual community we need to make sure that we share some of those traditions.
Yes. And if it makes you... oh God, this is so horrible for me to say, but I'm going to go with it anyway. And if it disturbs or bothers you, good, get used to it. Accept it. Just go with it. Nod your head and go with it.
We're not going to always like everything that everybody says.
Yes. But just nod the head and go with it. Because you'd want the same for you also. Hopefully.
So we will be live on Sunday, and it is the beginning of, and I know I said it at the beginning, but we are starting C.S. Lewis's The Great Divorce. We're doing chapters 1 through 4. So this is going to be pretty philosophical, because Lewis brings that out. So this will be fun. So please read and please join us. It will be open panel. So we'll love to have you there. The Great Divorce will be over several weeks. I've got to figure out all the weeks. I'll have that announced on Sunday. But please, please, please order the book Jezebel, Bren's book Jezebel.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow him on TikTok. Go to his bio, go to his link tree, and it will take you straight to the book, because the book we'll be reading after The Great Divorce will be Jezebel. And The Great Divorce is not, it's very philosophical, but it's not it's only 141 pages. So we'll be through it probably. I'm thinking it'll be about 3, maybe 4 weeks. So you do want to order Bren's book now so that you have it in time for when we do Jezebel.
Yes.
And
And
I also want to throw out, and then I'll let you talk, Bren. It is awesome, Bren. It was awesome with Nyx, and the opportunity to actually have an author read and you can learn from the author. That is absolutely amazing. So please, please, please support Bren.
And also another thing that I'm going to just sprinkle on in here too, because it's very important. Now, big disclaimer ahead. Probably the biggest disclaimer to be disclaimed since disclaiming was, a thing. With the whole idea of somebody saying, like, because I know there was an article about I don't even know who was it, saying, like, conjuring the Jezebel spirit to cause somebody to kick the bucket. Okay, hold my wine glass. For one, what does she have to do with it? What does she have to do with somebody kicking the bucket? Nothing. Thank you. Don't just bring her up because she's a scapegoat. No. Let's use your head. But that's none of my business.
And, that just on that box, like, just because somebody practices paganism, it doesn't mean we're evil. Actually, pagans, we love everything and accept and love everything. So.
And actually, now I'm thinking about it, that actually segues into, like, the epic foreshadowing, I guess. I guess we'll roll with that. Because the way that I wrote the book on Jezebel, it is completely not at all what you think it's going to be. You're probably thinking, oh, well, he's probably going to say how vile and how cruel and just whatever kind of vulgarity in there. No. Nope. I'm actually going to focus on the opposites. The good traits. The aspects of her that were really, exemplary? Yeah, that's the word. But what do you mean? How can that be exemplary? Well, how about this? She knew exactly what she needed to do to get what she wanted, the throne. Determined. She was strategic. She did what she had to do to get the throne. So what? Was it the right thing to do? Not the most dignified, but she still got it right. Mm-hmm. She got her wish. What's wrong with that?
Yep. Everybody has good aspects and everybody has bad aspects. We all do. And so it's learning to love and understand people for their good and not necessarily their bad.
I don't think I got anything anywhere else to sprinkle, so I guess that would be like a Nadia Verci, or whatever the heck they say over there.
I was going to say, I think it's time to wrap up. We will be live again on Sunday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, Tuesday will be Tuesday Tarot. And we'll be back next week with Libra. So
the sign of the hips.
Thanks so much for joining, Bren. And thank you to everybody who gave us hearts. Hopefully we'll get more hearts on Sunday. But, Bren, any other goodbyes?
Nope, au revoir. Ciao.
All right. I'm trying to get the camera. There we go. Got the camera on. Yep. Okay, glasses back on so I can see a little better. There we go. All right. Merry meet, merry part, bright blessings, and namaste.